Good morning to you once again, Lagos. This is Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. 32 minutes past 7 a.m. on a hump of the week, Wednesday morning, 17th of November. Sorry, December, I beg your pardon, 2025. Forward ever, backward never. I'm thinking about Christmas. Why am I thinking about November? Was there something special about that particular day? I don't know. Anyways, we are here and we are ready to take a look at the major stories and headlines in the papers on Freshly Pressed. Welcome, welcome, welcome into another interactive session. Ayokunmi here, and it's going to be an interesting morning, interesting stories, analysis, and your thoughts and contributions as well. So please do join us on WhatsApp, do join us on YouTube, share your comments, share your messages, let us know what you are thinking. The WhatsApp number, it's 0911 999 0981 0911 999 0981. You can also join the live stream on YouTube and leave your comments there. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right. It is two gentlemen joining me this morning. Fine gentlemen, I have to add, ready to break it all down for us in the persons of Lakunle Yusuf and Devoe Okorie. Lakunle, good morning to you. Welcome once again.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's great to be here. Good morning to the world. Finally, the last countdown of the last month of the year is here. And for those of us in Lagos, let us be careful. Let us celebrate the way that is reasonable. For those of us everywhere else, let us celebrate and remember that January is just around the corner and is the longest month.
Yes. Oh, yes. January is about 90 days. So let's keep that in mind. Devoe, good morning to you.
Morning. Sorry. Morning, world. Morning, Lagos. Smooth. AY, Lakunle. New day and a new week. Cool. Japa. Threats from Trump. Cool. Japa. Threats from Trump.
All right, Devoe, is that where you want to start from this morning, or do you want to talk about MTF? Because it seems like that is getting you in some sort of space right now. So is that where you'd like to start from, talking about Donald Trump and some new updates therein?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's step into The Guardian and talk about that, where the story reads that the United States has partially suspended the issuance of immigrant and non-immigrant visas to Nigeria and 14 other countries, citing concerns on radical Islamic terrorist groups such as Boko Haram and the Islamic State operating freely in certain parts of the West African country. Specifically, the classes of visas affected include B1, B2, B1, B1, B2, the B1/B2, FM, and J visas. Devoe, what does this mean for Nigerians? And generally, what does this mean all around?
I'm really loving this article because it actually captures the full picture of what is happening. And, in as much as we were formerly colonized by the British, we must say that America, the United States of America, has been the one and only nation that has shown Nigerians love in terms of that haven that we have loved and continually keep jackbarring to. In English, it means migrating to. So yes, it is going to be a shock and a threat when we get this update from America, especially coming from, you see, Donald Trump runs the presidency from his tweets, right, or from his social media accounts. You don't need to hear from the embassy because honestly, he says it as it is. The rest comply. And what he has done is he has placed, I think this came yesterday or so, he has placed about 12 countries, 14 countries on partial travel restrictions, okay? And where it concerns Nigeria, because these countries cover, what are those nations? They call them high-risk nations. Afghanistan, Burma, Chad, Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, okay? And five other countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Southern Sudan, and Syria. And you can tell because what he's saying is that these are countries that, in one way, have radical Islamic terrorist groups, like in our own case, Boko Haram, Islamic State, that are operating freely. Okay. Now, now this is going to place a restriction on B1, B2, FM, and J visas, which is the bulk of which Nigerians who go on tourism take to be able to access America. Now, he's even breaking it further down and saying that these restrictions would be further highly vetted because one, they've seen there's a high level of overstay. Overstay is once you get access into America, maybe for 3 months or 6 months. What happens is many people, as we know, in the name of Japa, overstay, right?
Yeah.
Then also, the other time they were warning about bringing in fake documentation, etc., and code because they've seen a high level of it, even though they don't use your documentation. But the point is, most times they notice that most people in filling their DS-160s, with what they feel and what they say at the interview table, always mismatches, which leads to the high level of visa rejections. Now, and they're saying, well, the people that they will be interested in giving visas in this instance are people like athletes and diplomats, as somebody would say, those who can entertain them. Well, the truth is, this is not a surprise, okay? And that's why I said I like this article because it speaks to the fact that, one, apart from the fact that Donald Trump had already labeled us a country of particular concern in his first tenure, this 47th time of his administration, he's coming all out. Now, he went all out with that threat when he said he would be coming guns blazing in a fast and sweet manner to protect Nigerian Christians, given the allegation on Christian genocide. Ever since that time, Nigeria stepped up its actions, which is not a good sign that it took an external factor or an external country to actually get you to protect your own citizens, which is the number one obligation under the Constitution, okay? And in so doing, the American government has sent some teams to the country who have gone around to various locations to kind of fact find themselves the truth behind what has been rumored for years, okay? Now, of course, they did see many things. Whilst the report is yet to come out, in America also, they recently had a terrorist attack whereby some Afghanistan-related individuals, let's call them a sleeper cell, woke up and attacked 2 Coast Guards. So this was a reaction from the government in a way to protect them. Now, some will debate, well, you can't use the action of a few people to generalize or ostracize whole nations or whole peoples. Yes, that is true. But, we know at some point that this has to do with their own foreign policy, which is why
Right.
we've also always said, Nigeria, what are you doing in terms of your own foreign policy? You can't be knee-jerking. You can't just be reacting. You must have your own foreign policy. And foreign policy is just simple. What's your strategy? If they're scratching your back, how are you scratching yours? Recently, Israel detained 2 Ghanaians, okay, for one reason or the other. Ghana, in sovereign response, detained 2 Israelis in Ghana. Simple. Yeah? You eat okra, I eat egusi. Simple. So there are
All right,
lots of
Devoe.
lessons in this. I know this might hamper a lot of people who had planned, like myself, thank you, who had planned to take a trip into America and out in this coming year. But the truth is, we have got to start showing that Nigeria has a foreign policy. Nigeria has to start showing that it's looking out for its citizens, okay? So that at the end of the day, we don't fall into lists like this. Because if you check the list, in as much as Donald Trump has labeled us with a lot of expletives, what are we doing for ourselves? We don't need foreign validation. We don't need foreign pressure. We need to pressurize our own selves to get
All right.
standard of living in this country as high as it should be. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. We need to definitely look inward. Not enough of that has actually been done. Will that then be done is the question. And needing external pushes or external pressure in order to do what it is we know we're supposed to do, it's never a good look. But anyways, let us see how this is going to work out. A lot of people are going to be disappointed because plans for different things are definitely going to be in jeopardy right now.
Real
All right.
jeopardy.
Lakunle, let us step into the punch. Let's bring things home right here. And let us have a conversation about our good friends at the NLC, the Nigerian Labour Congress. Well, ahead of today's nationwide protest by the NLC, The police have mobilized the special forces and tactical teams to ensure a violence-free demonstration. Our state police commands, in separate interviews with the Punch on Tuesday, confirmed their readiness to tackle miscreants and political hirelings who may want to disrupt the rallies. Now, the NLC has stated that it would not retract its planned nationwide protests, which were called in response to the escalating insecurity in the country and other labor issues. Is this the way to go where the NLC is concerned, Lakunle?
For our listeners, Ayo has used style to warn me that I should be gentle on NLC this morning. So I will. That's just a joke, really. So everybody knows my opinion about the Nigeria Labour Congress. Anybody that's listening to me on this show, we've talked about Labour Congress and all that. But I know that I'm not a fan of their methods or how they act up or do things, right? But then, okay, so this time I think that for the benefit of whatever it is, maybe retroactively, maybe reacting, maybe late, whatever, anyhow how I want to look at it, I think it's a good idea that the NLC is throwing its art as a body organization into the ring to say, look, Mr. President, the executive, the judiciary, the
legislature,
the lawmakers, guys,
legislatures, yeah,
the guys, we have kept quiet for so long, and things are this bad or are this good, and these are the things you should do, and that's where my being good with NLC ends. I'm going to go back to my opinion of how I think they should be running things. Gone were the days as a child when you hear Pa Michael Imodu's name in the news. You are quick to want to read or hear what he has said. If you didn't understand, you are quick to ask an older person to explain what Pa Michael Imodu has said. Gone were the days of Adams Oshiomhole. He may not say a lot of things. He may say too many things, but you want to hear him speak. I'm sure that if you ask a lot of our listeners today, who is the president of Nigerian Labour Congress, many of us will struggle to even remember his name, right? Okay, so again, our Labour in 2025, as a Labour Congress, where is your strategy committee? Where is your lobby group in the National Assembly, in the state South-South Assembly? What are they doing to preempt and pressure government at that level to act on things? Street protests don't achieve anything. Now I like when the police says I mobilize special forces and tactical teams. Special forces and tactical teams from the 250,000 strong, 400,000 strong member that we cannot account for, or where are they? I mean, so it just comes spread over armored trucks on the road. Labour Congress joins them, and then they disrupt activities of other people who want to just go about their businesses. So for me, they've listed a lot of things here about security, about the Nigerian university system, about salaries for everybody. So what exactly is the arrowhead of this protest in itself? Because by the time you put too many things in it, when you get there and you are talking, who are you talking to exactly? You are in a protest ground or you're on the road. Who are you speaking to exactly? What is the aim? What is this protest aimed to achieve, aside from we get free airtime on TV and radio stations and in the front pages of newspapers that you've done this. After then, what happens? So for me, it just appears perfunctory that this is going to happen. The insecurity didn't start today, it didn't start January this year.
True.
Have they protested against it? ASU had been on the agreement on Nigerian security 2009. When last Nigerian Labour Congress writes jointly with ASU to pressure government to act? So when you start to look at it from this perspective, you want to say, okay, they are doing it because everybody is talking and they don't want to be left out. And this is why I say, where the NLC is useful to us as a corporate organization is in those places where we will not even see them, but we'll just be feeling the effect of what they are doing. Where's their strategic committee who writes strategy of what they are going to do what happens? Where is their lobby group who is lobbying? The National Rifle Association of America is strong today because they have a powerful lobby group in the legislature there. And that is the model the Nigerian Labour Congress should have. If they don't have that, all these ones is just demonstration of grace.
That sounds like something that fella probably would have said, or probably even said, because he said quite a number of things. NLC, the less I say, the better. But what do you think about the NLC and, of course, this planned protest, which is set to happen today? Let us know your thoughts on WhatsApp on 0911-999-0981. All right, Devoe, I'm coming back to you right now. Let's talk some numbers here. Let's talk budgeting, and let's try to make sense of all of this. The Guardian is where we're heading to right now, and this one states that the Nigerian Senate has approved the 2026 to 2028 medium-term expenditure framework, aka MTEF, and fiscal strategy paper, allowing President Bola Tinubu to present the 2026 appropriation bill projected at about 54.4 trillion naira later on this week. The approval followed a plenary session on Tuesday, during which the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, presented a detailed report on the framework. So, Devoe, we are here once again talking about MTEF for 2026-2028 and, of course, the budget for 2026. But there is still that little issue of the fact that we are operating multiple budgets at the same time. How do we get ourselves out of that particular quagmire?
Okay, this article in The Guardian speaks to the recent activity in the National Assembly, whereby, yes, the MTEF, which is like the breakdown of the spending plan, okay, which precedes a budget presentation. All right. Now, the Senate's chairman on the Committee of Finance, that's Mungunu, did present this on the floor. Sorry, Senator Sani Musa, and he said literally the right things in terms of it's projected at 1.8 million barrels of crude per day, which currently our crude production has increased, so that's not out of place. They also said the oil benchmark would be reduced to $60 from 64, given the global market conditions. As you know, the Russian-Ukraine war, maybe if they come to some resolution, the move by Russia to sell oil to India and also America, drill baby drill, and all the push of shale. So if you mark your benchmark too high and there's an oil glut that brings down the price, obviously you'll be making less than you had planned, and you won't be able to fund your budget. Now, so that $60 is kind of like a conservative position, which is very wise. However, you see all these nice things that are being said, and they're sounding like they're so intelligent all of a sudden. The Senate president did say, well, this was just the first passage, that it's not the final position of the Senate. After the budget presentation by the president, obviously the Senate will scrutinize and, in quotes, put it through some level of debate. Now, that's not even saying because that's what should normally happen. They're speaking so well because there's a big issue on ground, and it's the elephant in the room that needs to be addressed. One, like you mentioned, multiple budget cycles. Here we are discussing the passage of the 2026 budget when 3 years preceding budgets are still open, meaning 2023 is open, 2024 is open, 2025 is open. The finance minister last week came out because they had a meeting on these matters to discuss how far fiscal performance. And he said budget performance for 2025 is at 30%. Okay? Budget performance means usually how far you have gone in executing the projects that you stated in your budget. Okay? Now, to execute project means the budget has to be funded. So sometimes, even if we mention, oh, we're looking at 54 trillion, no problem. All well said and good. This time, we're not even haggling on what is the component of the budget or the strategy. Now we're haggling what was put in 2025. You've not been able to fund it beyond 30%. Many things fall out from this. And the problem is, first of all, 30% means, and here we're talking not 30% performance, so meaning that they were funded and they were only able to deliver 30%. This is 30% funding, which is at the root of the matter in the sense that, so where has all the inflows that government has been parading? It's almost sounding like propaganda now that, oh, we've met oil revenue a quarter ahead of time in September. States have been receiving the increased, what do you call it, outflow from the increased earnings. What has happened to all the funds that we've been hearing all year round that has been coming through if budget performance is still at 30%? Okay, that clearly tells you that all the promises you were given in January have not been delivered. Now, already the finance minister told many of the MDAs, that's the ministries, departments, and agencies, to move 70% of their capital budget into 2026. That's already telling you that infrastructure was not done. So the question here is, and we're supposed to see a complete outrage on this matter. Where is the money? Where is the money we've been hearing about? Where is the money? Already you've seen the indicators that contractors, federal government contractors, have been protesting for almost 3 months now in front of the National Assembly that they've not been paid. Where is the money? Now, and the truth is, at this point, I don't even want to hear from the finance minister anymore. I want to hear from the president. Where is the money? Because the truth is, if most of the issues, like for example, whilst we were saying America, Donald Trump only reacted to Nigeria because we didn't have presence in Washington, right? For a long time since this administration, there were no ambassadors in the 180 countries that we have presence in, okay? They already came out to tell you that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs was not funded. Clearly, that was the issue delaying the posting of ambassadors and the running of embassies in all the places. Now, That's just the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You've seen the lockdown in service delivery in the educational sector where ASU went on strike and the Ministry of Education was doing Tom and Jerry. Clearly, they didn't have funds. You see the Ministry of Health and how they were playing wayo with the health service delivery professionals. Clearly, they did. Where is the money? Now, half of the equation lies with the federal government. The other half lies with the state government, which citizens have left state assemblies who are in the pockets of their governors to have a field day. So I'm putting the blame on this matter squarely on Nigerians. You see, in as much as we love gossip, in as much as we love to follow Sheyi Tinubu and co. and do maga here and there, Mr. President, Gomina, next Gomina, pay attention to where your focus should be. Hold your elected leaders accountable, because is at the end of the day, if all they give you is social media manipulation, okay, influencers and propaganda, you miss the point, and your sufferings will continue. Pay attention. We need to confirm where this money has gone to, because at this rate, this 2026 budget, and this is why the budgets are still open. Finally, I'll just say this. You asked why are there multiple budgets, because if you close a budget, you can't spend from it again. You're actually meant to put it in the new budget and start over. But most times they don't want to go through that process. So what they do is that they corruptly leave the budget open so that anytime the money comes, they can keep spending. That is wrong accounting. It should not be encouraged. I rest my case.
Question for the day is, where is the money? That is the question for today, for the day. I just wonder where the money is. Lakunle, let us quickly talk about this particular one. We're having a discussion about this before we came on air, and I know it should not be funny, but it is funny in a way. But it should not be funny. But anyways, the Premium Times is where the story is, where it says that the Speaker of the Akwa Ibom House of Assembly, Udeme Otong, has sparked public outrage by publicly declaring that the outcome of the 2027 legislative elections has already been decided, claiming that he has the power to determine who within the All Progressives Congress in the state will be elected into the assembly. I'll let you take it from here, Lakunle, because
what else is there to say other than what you said? The man, I don't even want to mention his name, is either that he is Nostradamus or he has a crystal ball somewhere in his house that he has looked into the future and he knows it's already. These are the kind of aggrandizing. Sorry, I'm trying to speak the biggest English possible in my head to describe it. These are the kind of over bloated egos that we get to see with our politicians. So this suggests to me that it does not matter whether we, the people, go to vote or not, that democracy is already being subverted with that statement that I already know who will. So if I am not one of those people and I want to contest, should I bother putting my money in the business? And I think this is food for thought for all of us. Like we always say, if we stay away because one person already said this, then what we get from it, we should not complain. I wish to stop here so that we can take this to the 6. It's very, very important.
Let us use story 6 to wrap up the show this morning. I hope we can squeeze it in, and I'll bring both you and Devoe in on this one. It's about the NBA and the police disagreeing on the tinted glass permit enforcement. It's in the Vanguard. The NBA and that's the Nigerian Bar Association and the Nigerian Police Force have disagreed over the fresh notice issued by the police on Monday, hinting of its plan to resume the enforcement of the suspended tinted glass permit policy from January 2nd of 2026. So we're back here once again. This is a recurring conflict, and the police are saying that there is no order whatsoever. No court ever restrained the IGP or the NPF from enforcing the tinted permit order, which I recall is not the case, because there was a particular case that originated in Delta State at the time. Well, Lakunle, just get your words in. I'll let Devoe, get his own perspective in on this as well.
So quickly, for me, I think that the idea of a permit we already take a permit to own a car. We take a permit to drive the car. We take a permit to borrow or to hire somebody to drive the car. We take a permit to use the road, to use the car on a road. Now we take a permit for our cars to have screens as well, right? And we know for the purposes that today's car manufacturing industry, hardly do they make any car without some form of shade, shadow, tint on their screens. And so, except that we start our motor industry in Nigeria, whereby we say you cannot make cars with screens, that's one. 2, the idea that the police has become a revenue generation entity. So where does the money the police generates go? By law today, all monies made by all federal government agencies should go to the consolidated revenue account, CRA or TSA as it were. Does this money, 15,000 everybody is going to pay for this thing, does it go to the TSA or it goes to the police's account in a commercial bank, or it goes into a consultant's account in a commercial bank? So, and the idea that the police is supposed to be the one enforcing the laws, they are the ones who is antagonizing the law right now. There is a High Court restriction, I think it's in Warri or Ughelli or somewhere in Delta, that it was in October, that they should stay action. There's another one in the Federal High Court in Abuja on the same matter that is yet to be decided. A Federal High Court ruling in Kafanchan should hold anywhere in Nigeria as far as Okorie, Bagongo, or in Ure, anywhere in Nigeria. So I don't understand this idea that there is no restriction and there is no court order on, except we're saying that the court is not recognized, or that the court did not sit and it was not true that that restriction happened in Warri. I am worried that people can wake up in the morning and make this kind of pronouncement and set everybody running around to get things done. With this kind of things, we create other avenues for corruption to happen. Because, right. Okay, so I don't get it today, I pay somebody to get it for me, I go to clone what somebody else already has, and all that and all that. So those are the things that we need to be careful of. We'll plead with the IGP to review this matter with his legal team and let them have a conversation with the Nigerian Bar Association, or however. The Nigerian Bar Association also should go to the National Assembly. That, I think, is where the issue really is, to pressure them, to lobby them. More than half of members of the National Assembly are lawyers. It should be easy for them to achieve. get National Assembly to either review, repeal, or whatever this law as soon as possible.
All right, Devoe, do you have a word to chip in very quickly?
It's clearly a banana republic. Mm. In this country, it is do as I say, not do as I do. The police have decided to ignore court orders. However, um, you block them on, you want to remove them from their VIP services, which was one of the biggest forms of revenue. Now you want to block them on collecting money for uh, tinted glass. MBA, how you want make police chop now? Think how do you want the police to chop? It's Christmas. I beg, we can follow orders maybe sometime next year, but between now and then, we'll go collect.
Let me take your messages as we wrap up on the show this morning. All right, who's talking to us here? This is Tayo Inaja, who says, everybody, including the FCC, is using TSA, but because, in quotes, police is your friend and bail is free, there's an exception with the police that isn't a revenue-generating agent, is hiring consultants for its supposed finance. Well, it's Nigerian magic there, Tayo. Tony Nikeja, good morning to you. He says, a country that can't implement accurately her annual budget, but keeps seeking for ways to tax our population, included tinted glass permits, a country that can't account for how a very large crude carrier vessel entered and left her country with stolen crude oil, needs serious deliverance. I think it's beyond deliverance at this point, too, Tony, if you think about it. Okay, this is Lekon in Lagos. Lekon, this your message is way too long. I'll just take a few lines. This is way too long. I've said this a million times. Make them concise, please. He says, good morning, crew. In the same country, removal of subsidy, borrowing money, or taxing people is used for development. But here, the government borrows to loot and live their luxurious lifestyle for wasteful and unnecessary traveling. By the 1st of January, they'll tax the daylight of Nigerians. In the midst of poverty, they've put Nigerians in. I want to ask the subsidy money, all the taxes from banks, government, taxes, and so on, all the borrowing of the president from 2023 till now, where is the money? Infrastructure, no security, inflation, corruption is the order of the day, and so on. Like I said, way too long of a message. That's all I could take from that. Thank you for sending it. Gilbert Musa in Festac says, on the planned protest by the NLC on security and other matters, like Mr. Lakunle said, we should be proactive in our thinking rather than reacting to events. Furthermore, since 2011, it appears our security chiefs, the Navy, Air Force, Army, and police appear helpless on insecurity nationwide. It's time to seek intervention from the developed world. You're going to say something, Lakunle?
Yeah, I wanted to say in response to Lekon's comments, government didn't start in 2023. Nigeria's problem didn't start in 2015 either. It didn't start in 1999 also. If we look back, it's a build-up matters that is coming to head now. And of course, government is a continuum. The man who sits at the head of government today bears the brunt of the complaints, yes, but we need to be circumspect about how we got here. This thing was a soldier's pronouncement on the road one day and said, where can I not see you in the car? Police, look for a way to stop people from using this thing. And that's how this thing came up. So it was not a properly debated idea of a law. These are the kind of things we're talking about when I say that there are some things that we don't even need to be making laws on. Just let the regular authority, the supervising agencies, to make a pronouncement, because they're already empowered to do some of these things, right? And then we just move on.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for those comments there, Lakunle. Let me see. Is there any comment on YouTube I need to share? Okay, there isn't. All right. On that note, we need to bring things to a close here. It has been an interesting morning, as it always is, on Freshly Pressed, right here on the Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. Appreciation to you all for keeping up with us, sending your messages, and always living with the Smooth family. You are the real MVPs. Big thank you to you, Lakunle and Devoe, for making it an interesting morning, as you always do. You are very much appreciated, Lakunle.
Thank you, Ayo, for having me. Again, in the spirit of the season, Ayo, please make that call on my behalf. I am waiting, right? And everybody have a great and wonderful December of 2025. Let's make memories that we'll all be proud of.
Yes, indeed. Devoe.
Make your dirty December clean with soap. Thank you.
Mine is clean already. Do you know what the prices of things are outside? Mine is very, very clean, please.
Yeah,
Anyway, it's time for me to go. Thank you
big,
so much once again for keeping it tuned. Let us stay right here, 8:15. It's going to be all about sports in the locker room. Tega is on the ground. It's going to be an interesting morning. Don't go anywhere.